really, I'm going to let you guys start with the questions. I'll just say this, not a very pretty football game, either which way, yet at the end of the day, that's football. It's a game of imperfection, and, I give our kids a lot of credit. Obviously, a hard place to play, a very good football program and football team, and for our kids, the character and the resiliency to keep playing. Those are things that are great traits that hopefully will continue to serve us well as we continue to grow as a football team right now. So, with that said, let me certainly open up to you guys and questions you have for me.
How did you feel to see your team run across the field and grab that trophy?
Yeah, it's great, and I think from my end, that's what's great about rivalry football. But I think we can also put it in perspective. It's the second game of the football season. I think that's a little bit what's tricky about this game sometimes is, it's a great rivalry, it's a special rivalry, and yet it's still the second game of the season. And I think if from our end, if we let this shape us rather than define us, then we can use what we learned today and grow from it. And I think those are the things about playing a big game early in the season like this. But, Jared, we've talked about this, and, so many of you guys that have covered us is, from our end, I think just seeing our team continue to grow at a rapid pace right now, maybe at times where we haven't done that early in the season through the early parts of some of my tenure here. And I think that's an area we've really worked to address, and that probably is the greatest reward of seeing our guys persevere through adverse situations today.
Your thoughts on the 99-yard drive?
I mean, I would say this, that's a great defense, and I felt like offensively, we were in pretty good rhythm, through a bulk part of the football game. It'll be really good to get back and see, we didn't always finish, but when we needed it the most, and I think you can say that about our entire team today. When we, from a special team standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, an offensive standpoint, there are things that we can be really picky on and will get us beat if we don't correct. But I think that 99-yard drive kind of emphasizes what we did when we needed it the most. We made the plays, and that was really big today, and that was great to see for a young team.
Matt, you converted 6 third downs in that drive, even the throw from Decker Stacks to third down. What does that say about your team within that drive?
Well, I think great growth from Hunter today. I think you guys have, again, we'll find out when the bullets fly, and you're in front of the lights, and the lights come on, and you know what, it's not pretty. And who are you when your back's against the wall? I think we found a little bit more about who we are, and certainly who we've got the ability to grow into today. And I think those things were what I take away as great positives for our program. But I think it said a lot about Hunter. I think X has gotten off to a great start this season. Really proud of certainly what he's been able to accomplish, and I think help usher in. I would also, I think we'd be remiss not to talk about the offensive line. I think, again, you're talking about an elite front seven, and I thought those guys really did a great job today.
Yeah, Will McDonald also. I mean, he had, I don't know what his stats were, but I know he had at least 2 huge plays. And one of them came after you moved him in, he was playing inside. Can you just go over?
Yeah, I just think for Will, again, kind of like Xavier, in terms of, man, you come to practice. I think I said this to you guys that cover us again, that, man, you almost had to ask Xavier and Anthony at times during fall camp to not practice because they were ruining practice. And all I mean by that is, man, our best players right now on our team, if you come to Tuesday and Wednesday's practice, they're elite practice players.
Done an invitation?
And no, I knew you were going to ask, and no. But, I think those things, when we have had that in our program, when we've been at our very best with those players, those guys, they live in the moment, and they make plays in the moment. And I think you saw that. I think we all know what Will has the ability to be and how he can really manipulate a game. And again, credit to our defensive staff as well. Just like our offensive staff, I think made some really good adjustments. We were able to move him around, and I think that really helped us throughout the game.
What do you think it satisfied your team that they were able to battle through some of those mistakes, especially in the situations that they were in? I mean, the 2 block punts, you're backed up way against your own end zone.
Yeah.
The 2 turnovers, you gave them short fields, and they were able to battle through it.
Yeah, I just, again, young team. It's like, man, you got a freshman punter. You got some freshmen. A lot of young guys playing for the first time, and you have to weather the storms early on. And I'll put any of that on me as much as anybody. Of man, we got to continue to do a great job as coaches and correct whatever the challenges are. They created some good matchups. Give credit to their coaches; they got good coaches too. And yet, I thought our ability to handle, some imperfection early, I thought that's big. I mean, man, you want to get off to a great start. We didn't get off to a great start. Man, you want to take care of the ball. We didn't always take care of the football. Man, you want to play great on special teams. We didn't always do it. But when it mattered the most, we were able to do those things. And I thought that was huge. And, I go back to even to times, the last couple of years where when things went against us, we kind of folded our tents instead of just keep playing. Like, it's a game of imperfection. You got to keep playing, and you got to play 60 minutes, not look at the scoreboard. I thought our kids did a great job of that today.
Does this send a message to the rest of the Big 12 or no?
Yeah, the message I think has to sound loud and clear in our locker room. We have a lot to work on, and in my opinion, this can't define us. We didn't. This isn't the standard of man. This is the only thing we want to do. We want to be our best every Saturday, and if this can shape us, then we can put ourselves in a position to reach our full potential. And I still think that's very unclear to me what that is or what that's going to look like. But I think, taking the lessons learned and persevering through really hard today will serve us well if we have the humility to learn from our mistakes, correct them, and move ourselves forward.
That Saturday's. Coach, what's it mean to deliver this moment to the fans?
Yeah, I think probably that's the greatest value of what today gives. And it is, I know how important it is to our alumni. I know how important it is to our university and our fan base. And, I've said this multiple times, what's made it really special to be here at Iowa State is the unity of our fan base and the growth of our football program aligning as one over the course of now 7 years here. And to be able to deliver something that I think means the world to them, it's a great reward. We're excited. And what I would tell them is, again, the same message. Hopefully this helps shape us, gives them something to be really proud of, but this doesn't define us of where we're going and how we're going to finish this season.
You mentioned how you guys, kind of made plays with the backs against the wall today. How did the linebacking core especially kind of showed it? And it seemed like 3 or 4 of those guys were really instrumental in like all those turnovers.
Man, I mean, you talk about Ryan Vance, I think it's his play on the goal line. You talk about Gary Vaughn's strip sack. You talk about Colby Reeder at the end. I mean, man, oh man. I mean, those guys were outstanding. And I thought one thing that we left fall camp, we thought we had a chance to be elite at the linebacker crew. And then, there's Karsten Marshall, there's Miles Mendezoon, who really played well today and was all over the place. And so, to me, our depth, Kendall Jackson, another name, those are things we hadn't had and we haven't had over the course of the last couple of years. We've had great players, but the depth of players and the ability of those guys to be great in the moment, I thought that showed up big for us.
You mentioned that offensive line. What allowed them and Jairell to run the ball as well as you guys have against them, I think, since you've been here?
Yeah, I think again, a lot of credit to Coach Manning, a lot of credit to Coach Myers. I thought, there was a really good plan. You're talking about going in against an elite linebacking crew as well, and we know that, and certainly a really, really good front seven. And, I think at the end of the day, you got to go block the people, and you got to be relentless running the football. And, I thought for the most part, Jairell did. I thought, again, his character of, man, turning over on the one, and, that's tough. And yet his ability and resiliency to come back, because some of those runs were critical for this football team in the heat of the moment. So, again, I think credit to the offensive line, great game plan by everybody involved.
I know you prepare for a big atmosphere like this, but how different is it to just step out there with the team?
Yeah, I think that's what makes college football really special. Obviously, it makes what playing in this rivalry really special. This is a great football environment too, and obviously to come in here and win a hard-fought football game. You hope the lessons learned in playing in these environments, because there will be more environments like this that we have to play in the rest of the season. And you take the lessons learned, how we prepared for it, and hopefully it'll serve us well moving forward.
How was the mood on the sideline after those 2 turnovers, like in the end zone at the one?
Well, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to let you guys in on a good story. You can write this, Randy. Okay? So, my halftime speech was revolutionary. Okay, now you guys know I coached girls softball, 6th grade girls softball this summer. Okay, and so we got to the championship game, and we had to play over in Roland Story, and they had their varsity team chanting in the dugout. All right, and we were down 4-2 after the 3rd inning, and we came up the bat. and we scored 3 runs, we got up 5-4, and then we went on a run. And I said, listen, if my 6th grade, and there was about 5 of our players there, Isaiah Lee and a couple of these guys, I said, if our 6th grade girls can do this against Roland Story for a championship, you guys can get this thing figured out here in the second half. So, you know, there's my inspiration. That's what got us to win. 6th grade Gilbert girls softball, guys. So I'm gonna end there. Guys, have a great night. We appreciate you. Go Cyclones.